My guest today is a millionaire. She's been a millionaire. She's made the money. She's made the bag. But then she's also lost it. And she's also now building the business back.
Think about this. Once you get in shape and everything, it's really hard throughout that journey, right? But once you are in shape, then what? What do you do? Let's say you want $1 million and I hand you a bag of $1 million. What are you going to do? You're going to spend it, right?
Right.
You're going to spend it.
I have a plan, but...
Right. You have a plan.
Right.
But after that,
yeah.
what now? It stops
right.
at 1 million?
That's right.
It doesn't stop at 1 million. Mm-hmm. You're going to have another thing that you're going to set for yourself.
Right.
So it's not about what you want. It's about how you're going to get there. That's really what life is all about.
But I'm glad that you're having this conversation because it's important for us to have this conversation and know that it's not just about making the money. What are you sacrificing in the process? What truly matters to you? And what kind of life do you want to live?
I manifest pretty quickly, so I'm very careful with what I ask for because sometimes I'm not cut out for it. I'm not cut out for it, and people are like, oh, this is what I want, but are you cut out for it?
Right.
Are you ready for it?
Right.
Because it's going to be a mess if you're not.
That's true.
Like my staffing agency, earning that revenue. I was a mess. I was not ready for it.
Right.
I didn't know what the heck what I was doing. I was like, well, you spend it, right? You spend the money, right?
Right.
That's what you do. So, yeah. There's a lot. It's not just about money. And if we were to talk about money, I could tell you step by step how to get that. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Right.
But nobody talks about the backside. What's going on in your head? Who are you?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. Today, guys, it's going to be fun because we often are always looking to go from $0 to $1 million pretty quickly. Every one of us is hustling, trying to make the money. But do you really want to make the money? And how soon? How quickly do you want to make the money? My guest today, first of all, this is the first time I'm having two guests, so it's really fun and exciting for me. But my guest today is a millionaire. She's been a millionaire. She's made the money. She's made the bag. But then she's also lost it. And she's also now building the business back to $1 million. And she has a lot of things that she wants to share with us on how to do it the right way. Because just because you want to make $1 million or just because you have $1 million, look, there's a whole lot that comes with it. And are you ready for it? So without much ado, I'm going to bring on my guests, Xizza and Nicole. They are the two best friends that you guys have been chatting and talking and talking. I've been enjoying your friendship, and thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, thank you for inviting us.
You look amazing. How long have you guys been friends? Because the time that I've been behind the scenes trying to get ready and now you guys been talking, I wish some of this was recorded.
We've been friends for 17, 18 years.
So you guys have been on this journey together. Nicole has seen you make the $1 million and even lost it too. And you guys are on the, together
building
it again.
One massive whole business.
Okay. So I think the question on most people's mind, at least definitely me, is, first of all, how did you even make $1 million? Because I know that I want to make $1 million.
Right.
And I know you have a lot of lessons to share with us, and we'll get there too, because yes, we want to make $1 million, but I think maybe you would say, don't be too, take your time.
Yeah.
So just give us the backstory of how this happened. And you also make the $1 million in your first year in business.
Yeah, so it was $2 million.
$2 million, yes.
And it was just with one client.
Wow.
It was one big corporation that had 39 facilities, and we had 19 of them.
Wow.
Eventually, there was only one, and then I slid my emails in there with the other facility, and that one facility had great things to say about us, so then they hopped on.
Wow.
And then after that, other facilities also hopped on because they liked working with us with our communication, and she was actually the point of contact for a lot of them. But starting the business, I didn't have a goal of $1 million.
Wow. $2 million.
Or $2 million. Or really $5 million. I didn't have a number. The only thing that I really wanted to do was I wanted to start that so that I could work from home, be with my kids, because that was my biggest thing. Is I felt like I just kept hustling, but I was losing time with my children. And I just wanted to be home with my kids.
Yeah.
So I drafted this business and it just kind of flowed, so I knew it was something that I should do. And after that, there was no plan of like, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have so much money, this and that. I just wanted to be content with life and be able to spend time with my family, maybe retire my husband so that we can travel and spend quality time with the kids. So that, I think the first thing is really to not put a number on it, because you'd be surprised where life will take you. So I mean, I didn't even tell anybody about the business because I'd never done it before. I had an MBA in business, but like, it's different when you've never done it before and you're trying to enter into this journey to build a business. That's, you're gonna be sending out invoices to companies and stuff. But I had told her about it, and she believed in me. She was like, I think it will work out. I mean, she believes in everything that I do.
Oh, don't we all need friends like that?
Yes. And
amazing.
she has seen me really like elevate, and then she became part of the team. And because money was coming in really fast. Like within, when I say fast, it was like the contract was signed 2 days before my 30th birthday.
Wow.
By November, I retired my husband.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that you became a millionaire? Like, I know it wasn't first year. So you're even before, like around 30.
So I started the business September of 2021. We got the contract in October, before my birthday, October 14th. By November, I retired him.
Wow.
By December, we hired her. And then by March, we had another recruiter. And then after that, we hired 2 more people. Wow. But that's really, by December, we found a company that would help fund us. And that was when the money started coming in. And then it was crazy.
Wow.
That's all I'm going to say. I didn't know what to do with the money. We had talks about expanding it, but I didn't know how to expand it because I had no plan. Like, I didn't know it was going to be like, hey, you're going to be getting big money.
Right.
It was just more of like the limiting beliefs of like, oh, I just want to be small and just do this on my own, hire people, get contracts, and just do that on, at home.
Right.
I didn't think about like making this big and have employees and have really like large amounts of money.
Wow.
I was doing the books by myself because I refused to hand it to other people.
Wow.
Because it had to be done in a specific way, a certain way. She can vouch for that. She eventually left me. She's like, listen, I'm done. You're too much. You're doing too much for me. So, and then throughout that whole 2022, year 2022, so it was a loss from September through December, which is usually the case when you're starting the last quarter. But that whole year was the 2 million. For 2022 was 2 million in revenue.
Wow.
And then the profit margin was well over 26%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like, I've never seen $1 million.
The profit was like 500 some thousand, and remember, I hired 3 people, so the payroll for them, that's taken out. Right. So really, if I didn't hire anybody and I really did that on my own, it would have been way more than that. Right. So, but yeah, I just had no idea how to do it. I tried to find business advisors. I was acting on like, oh my gosh, there's so much money, I don't know what to do. Wow. Now I'll just do this and I'll just do that because they were quick fix. Because there was just like so much, and then to top it off, like I wanted to spend time with my kids, but even though I was with them doing things, I really couldn't enjoy it. And she's seen me not enjoy it. Right. So, the moment I wake up, it's like the first thing I do is talk to her and be like, hey, this and that, look at the schedule. I was micromanaging everything. Wow. And I think that's the biggest mistake that a lot of small business owners do right now that I see, like working with small business clients right now. There's a pattern of that micromanagement, and I see so much of myself. And they've been in the business for like 6-8 years.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, there's so much money here that if you really delegate the right way and you trust yourself to hire the best fit for this position and delegate that task, you would grow even beyond 4 million, even beyond 10 million.
Wow.
But because I'm able to see that, and I'm able to see my own mistakes and things that I didn't take into account, like I'm able to put myself in this seat now where when she was like, hey, I really want to do the home care, and I was like, okay, well, let me just see. At first I didn't believe her, because I was like, look, listen, you can't pull me into something and then just back out, because once I'm head in and I'm really invested, like I'm invested.
I mean, yeah.
So now I feel like I know so much from my mistakes, and now I know where I want to go, but how I want to get there. Not good. Where to go, but like just how I get there. In our minds, like what we see on social media and what everybody else says is like, you know, just go, 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 get that money, secure that bag. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will.
Right.
But I'm going to enjoy every step of the way.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I was just like, I don't even want to do this anymore, because I talked to the consultant and she was like, you know, there's this, there's that. And I was asking all kinds of questions. I'm like, I really know all these things. And she was like, well, once you get enrolled, and I think she picked up on that. And she was like, well, then you're going to have to get enrolled with Medicare and Medicaid and to get certified. And, you know, if you're accredited, then we do this and that. She was making it seem like I didn't know. And I was like, listen, what there. You know is something that I can go find on my own and read up on by myself. And my husband had to tell me, like, you need to take a few hours tomorrow. Just stop thinking about this. I get on the phone with her the moment I wake up. She's like, you need to step away. And so it was like a sign that I needed to step away, because that's another thing too. Like when I get fixated on one thing, like I want to get it done. Right. And so I realized, you know, kind of tapping into my intuition, because it's one thing I hated in business school is they would have test questions about intuition and making strategic decisions. Some will say don't, just go with your gut. Right. But like our intuition is everything. Right. And I don't believe in that.
Okay, so for those that don't know more about you, I want to kind of peel back a little bit, right? Let's talk about, so what was the business that you were in?
So I was in healthcare staffing agencies.
Okay.
2021, that when I started it, we were still in the thick of COVID.
Right, that makes sense.
Because 2020, March of 2020, shut down and everything. 2021, staffing agency was still hot. A lot of the facilities, long-term facilities, were getting funding from the government for staffing. Right. So they had money to spend, and I got in at the right time. Right. So that's what I was doing. Was just healthcare staffing agency.
And I remember part of, you know, when we had this conversation before, you had talked about how, you know, the business grew very quickly, but you were also traveling a lot. Tell us a little bit about, you know, all the things that you had to do to keep up with the growth.
I honestly don't know. The way my brain works is that if I have to get it done, I'm going to get it done. Whether I'm in the car or I'm out traveling, I was always on my phone, which is really sad.
And I know that you and Nicole spent a lot of time together on the phone too.
Yeah. So always on my phone. When I'm in the car driving, we're in the Airbnb for the week, wherever we are. I'm always on my phone.
So why were you traveling, and why were you like on your phone a lot?
So a lot of the work you can do on your phone.
Okay.
So staffing, filling in the roles.
Got it.
Talking to the clients, whoever the point of contact is. A lot of those things you can do over the phone. Scheduling, putting them in the schedule, emailing, and trying to make sure that everyone is in the right schedule, right facility.
Got it. Okay.
And then recruiting too, you can do it on your phone.
Okay.
So those are the things that I had to do on my own, even though I didn't have to, because I hired people. Right. But there was that thing, like the need to control everything, because you see all this money and you don't want to lose it. it, but then you're not really being strategic about it. You're just acting in fear.
In fear, yeah. That's good to know. Wow. So, Nicole, from your point of view, like you're together, you're doing this together, but as a friend too, you know her as a person. Like, what were some of the things that you were seeing with that sudden growth?
It was definitely hard seeing her go from where she was to the amount of money she got so fast, just because normally she's a genuine person. I usually come to her and talk to her about everything that's going on with me. And she was always there. Once the money started coming in and the business started getting more hectic, she was there, but she wasn't there
mentally.
Yeah, and it was a lot of me talking to her and telling her, hey, this is going on, and then I would get like a really short answer that never really answered anything. And we would always have situations where, like, she did a lot of traveling to Airbnbs, and when she took her family to those Airbnbs, of course my family came along, and instead of us being with our families and enjoying it, we were on the laptops or on our phones working. And it was so hard and painstaking, and especially for her to go from this really sweet personality to being a very, she was kind of like a mothering personality, but not the kind of mother that you look up to. It was, everything she said was kind of demeaning and dictated to you. And it just got to the point where I was like, listen, if you continue down this path, people are going to leave. It's not going to be something that people are going to be willing to put up with, no matter how much money they're making.
Right.
And it was good money working for her, but it was just the way that we were told to do things it wasn't right. And then the fact that she did let us in, and I did hire on a lot of the people that came into the company, I never had any say with anything that happened. I was HR manager, and I couldn't tell them what to do. I had to tell Xizza, and then hopefully it aligned with how I wanted things to go.
I can see how difficult that can be.
So really, it was a waste of money to hire people, because if I could talk to my old self at that time, be like, well, if you're gonna do that, don't hire people, just do it yourself.
Right.
So I was deep in it. Wow. Deep in it.
So did you get any feedback, looking back now, from your children?
Oh, yes.
What were some of the things that they were like?
They don't really say anything.
Because they love us no matter what, right?
Well, people have a tendency to be afraid of me.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah. My whole family, they won't say anything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they do, open up to me when I sit down with them, be like, what's going on? But they've never said anything about me working so much and not giving them attention. But I would pick up on it when they're like, never mind, I'll ask you later when you're done working. So like just comments like that.
I can relate with that. My son, I have a 10 and 11-year-old, and it's hard. Even talking about it now, I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, so when in the past, at least last year, whenever I'm in a meeting, I'm like, I'm in a meeting. You see, I'm in a meeting. But they want their mom. They just want to talk to mom. Right after coming back from school, 8 hours or so, they just want to, hi mom, get a hug, whatever. But I'm like, do you see that I'm in a meeting? And I'm glad that they got a chance to like tell me, because my kids are kind of outspoken.
Yeah.
And my 10-year-old would tell you, like, mommy, you don't spend time with us. So and now, and I think also because the pandemic also helped us see that it's okay to still be a human. And I know I'm digressing now, because I know I want to ask a lot of questions about that $1 million.
Yeah. But this is a big part of it. Though. This is a big part of it. Like people are so hyper focused on the money that you have no idea what that big amount of money will do to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I was buying my kids whatever they needed. They didn't really ask for a lot. My kids doesn't ask for a lot. They love traveling and spending time together. I was able to, help my family with that big amount of money. I was able to just pick up and leave and be spontaneous and, just spend this, never thinking about the price, never looking at the price. Like, it was just spend.
Right.
And that's great. And a lot of people want that. However, it'll do so much in every aspect of your life that you have got to have like a plan. And this is why I kind of want to bring in what happened yesterday with the business that we're wanting to do. I wanted to start with just the home care portion where it's non-medical. It's a lot easier to manage. There's no, other issues where like if it was medical, skilled nursing care in homes, it would be a lot more complex. And, they were telling me it would be a lot quicker, a lot faster. And then you can take on non-medical under medical. But that's when I started to get stressed. And then I realized today, I want to actually enjoy it this time. So yes, I understand that we can do this healthcare if I really put my mind to it. And I tell her and my husband, because they're the business partners, we're all owners of XR and the home care subsidiary company. I can ask them and to be down and I can make it happen. But the thing is, I'm going to go back into the same place where I'm not present with her. I'm not present with my husband. I'm not present with myself. I'm not present with my kids, because everything about me is just tied into this complex business that I'm trying to perfect.
Right. And you want to do it quick.
I want to do it quick because it is quick money.
Right.
When insurance, Medicaid and Medicare and then private pay, like that is a lot of money. But I had to really remind myself and kind of sit back and be like, okay, there's a choice to be quick and have big money, or there's a choice to wait a little bit. It's still going to be big money, but I'm able to just take it one day at a time and process it and stress one thing at a time.
Right.
And enjoy the process of getting there and actually building this up, because we're not just worried about this home care.
Right.
We're worried about the healthcare staffing agency. I also have a branding company that I also want to revamp too.
Right.
So and we have other ideas too. Like we want to open up a beauty lounge, a women's lounge, a nightclub, a restaurant.
Oh wow.
Like I'm not stopping.
Wow.
But I want to enjoy it.
the process.
Because if you don't enjoy it, you're going to get so burnt out. And that's what happened to me. I got burnt out. Eventually they were like telling me, oh, we need to get other clients. But I was sabotaging the whole thing because I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was tired. And my employee was like, hey, should we call other companies so that we're not just depending on one client? Because like I told you, we only had one client. For that $2 million,
wow.
It was only one client. They were bought out. So we ended up having two clients, but it was in the same company. But I was so burnt out.
Wow.
And like people, I talked to somebody about this and she was like, it was a very shallow thinking and what somebody would think, someone who's never been in the business and seen that money and felt what it did to them. She was like, well, why can't you just, keep moving and get up and keep expanding instead of quitting? Like, why would you get burnt out by so much money? And I just had to look at her and I'm like, because there's a lot of things that matter to me more than money.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that money is everything. Yes, it will pay bills and buy things. But once you get that, you start to realize, like, wow, what do I actually enjoy this time? Because like everything about me is about this money-making machine. It's not even me as a mom, as a friend, as a daughter, as a wife. Like all of that is stripped away.
I
don't like that. Maybe other people are okay with that.
No, I think that if you have not made that type of money, sometimes it's difficult to think the way you're thinking. And both of you've been there. You've been, done the big moves and spent all the, I probably take some private jets to places. I don't know. But, but like, for me, I'm even looking at you thinking, damn, $2 million. Like, look, dollars. I'm not talking, I'm Nigerian. So, Nigerian dollars, Nigerian naira is, so it's easy to become, a millionaire. But in the dollars, it's like, are you
that's a lot.
It's a lot. And so if you're telling me, it's hard for me to think, but I'm glad that you're having this conversation, because it's important for us to have this conversation and know that, yes, it's not just about making the money. What are you sacrificing in the process? What truly matters to you? And what kind of life do you want to live?
And it sounds so cliche because you see, people on social media talking about it's not all about the money, but like they don't really understand. And if I can make you understand, it's like this. You see all this money, you have the freedom to buy this, buy that, go here, go there. However, you will not have the freedom to be present, fully present. And I say fully present because I could be sitting with them, with our kids, me and her outside, having a bonfire and having a talk, and my mind is somewhere else. Oh, what about that background check? What about this candidate? What about this client? Oh yeah, this client. I'm not with them,
right.
But my family and friends are enjoying, you know, what I'm able to put on the table.
Right.
But I'm in the back, like that's all I felt was being in the background, and I was freaking tired of it.
And you're losing your friends too in the process.
I lost a lot of friends. Yeah.
I mean, when you got that growth, a lot of friends came out of the woodwork.
That's another thing.
And as soon as that money, well, while she was having fun with all these friends and experiencing a lot of new things, I would just watch on the sidelines, and I just kept thinking.
And she would hear stories.
Yeah, it looks nice, but that doesn't seem like something that she's into. She doesn't seem very happy. I mean, I would see pictures and things, and then I would hear a whole different story, and it just didn't seem like something that somebody should brag about, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't a life well lived.
That is so interesting because, like you said earlier, we see all the, you know, things on social media. This is the life that they're living, but really
inside is so important, and nobody thinks about that.
Right.
You can be successful really at anything. Business is a straightforward thing. You do this, you build it, you market it, you sell it, you maintain it, you grow it, you do it all over again. However, there's this personal development that happens inside. This is inner work that you have to work on. You have to appreciate people that are working for you. You have to give them that trust. And all of my employees did not have autonomy.
She mentioned that.
She didn't have autonomy. So I was hiring them to literally just like be the point of contact, but they would all come back to me, hey, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? I mean, they all had these titles, but
they were
just a messenger.
Right.
And I see a lot of small business owners doing that right now. And the biggest thing too is that I had no exit strategy. A lot of small business owners, you know, they say they love what they do, but I know for dang sure they're ready to exit and enjoy the fruit of their labor. Okay.
True. I don't think we think far in advance to that point. You know, we're so short-sighted, and I mean, it's hard to be a business owner, right? A female business owner also. We're just trying to grind and trying to make, but we're not thinking in advance. We're not having a plan, like you said.
Yeah.
So,
and it's really, really important. And people sit there and be like, oh, I'm so worried. What if we do something wrong? What if it doesn't work out? What if people make fun of us? What if people talk crap about us? I don't want to be embarrassed. One thing I've learned to really embrace is be embarrassed of what's happened, because if I can do that, then I can do really just about anything, because no one is willing to be embarrassed or be seen trying. I'm going to try because I've done it before, and I've seen the results, and then I learned some lessons along the way. And this time, like, this is why I'm so excited to, like, it was a big decision to make her as part of the owner of our staffing agency. And she knows that, because that's my baby. That's my baby. And, you know, I told her, I was like, once you're in, I'm going to need you to really help us grow this. And she freaking did. She, you know, the whole week for my birthday, I just kind of wanted to chill, and she was calling people, and I kind of felt bad.
So why did you feel bad?
Because I'm used to be the one grinding.
So are we talking in 2021, 2022, like or this year?
This year.
Okay.
Yeah. So she just became one of the owners of the healthcare staffing agency we have. So she's got a share in the company now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We've talked about, you know, the fast growth and what happened at the high, right? And your friend is even testified to how you've changed. Let's talk a little bit about how did you decide to now take a turn, and just talk us through how that changed. You know, like, so are you still making the 2 million, or like did that change? And then now you've talked a lot about starting a whole different business and so many other businesses, like, and so I want to go into some of the things that you would do differently as you build this business. But let's start with
When
the
it
transition.
shifted.
Yeah, the shift.
Yeah. So going from that amount of money, our lifestyle is different.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay. And
So wait, let's paint the picture. What were I know we've talked about going to Airbnbs, like, you know, throwing parties. Give us, just paint the picture.
I
of the
can't
things.
even remember if she's seen me do this, but when I say spend money,
Uh-huh.
I've had to transfer, like I would spend $20K on a credit card and then pay it off
Wow. On what?
on 1 week.
Wait. Okay. Wait, I want to...
On what? I cannot. I don't
Okay.
even know. I don't know
wow.
what I spent. 'cause
Nicole,
I would
what was
say-
she spending money on?
We went to Greece one year. She paid for us to go to.
How many people are we talking here?
I mean, it was
was
for
just
6
us.
people, but it was just the 4 of us that ended up going.
Because
That was a whole nother story that happened in there with the other 2.
the friend that she was saying, started losing friends, and you know their colors showing.
So you paid for 4 people to go to Greece, and then you just went for like a week or so?
I think it was a week.
Yeah, we were there for a week.
Yeah.
Dang.
And we shopped.
She
ate.
was so worried. She's like, oh my gosh, you know, she's talking about her husband. He's worried about money, you know, spending money. I'm like, listen, we are here right now, and we are gonna walk out of here, go home, and be like, we had a great time. I'm gonna pay for everything.
Dang.
My husband, he's a very frugal man.
Yeah,
He
and we
does
love
not-
that about him, to be quite honest.
We need someone to balance us
Yes,
out, right?
he's got, somebody's gotta
Yeah, he's-
look at the money here.
He's definitely that guy.
Yeah.
And I remember going out to restaurants and looking at the bill, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
We
your
don't
money.
even.
And then they would
I
just
never.
take the bill, and my husband would be like, wait a minute, let me give you something. They're like, no.
Wow.
It gets to the
It was
point where they
really my
wouldn't even let us
husband.
look. Yeah.
And I'm just like, if he lets you pay, then, you know, go ahead and pay. But I never brought my wallet. I don't even have my wallet. I haven't brought my wallet since 2022 because my husband was the wallet.
Wow.
Like, he would pay for everything. I don't know, like, how much we actually spend at a restaurant. Like, I'm telling you, when we go to a restaurant, we would be spending $500-$600, just me and him.
Wow.
Okay, and when we went to the restaurant, I don't know how much we spent. Because I was tipsy.
No.
Yeah, we were just, you know, and like renting the four-wheelers. Where else did we go?
Tattoos.
We got tattoos. We got stupid stuff like the fish eating the calluses off our feet. We did the yacht. Not the yacht.
the boat.
the
Was this in
boat.
Greece or
This
like
was
a
in
different?
Greece.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We did the boat twice. And then we did like lunch and just like every little thing that we wanted to do, the food that we wanted to get. Like, I just didn't want them to worry about it. I didn't want her to worry about it.
Right.
And at that point, that's really when I was realizing, like, who was the real ones? You know what I'm saying? She almost didn't go. I was gonna. I said, yeah, I don't care if your husband doesn't go. You're coming.
Yeah, because at that time, my husband was working.
And he was worried about the money.
Yeah.
And he was worried about going out the country, right?
Yeah, because my husband, he's never left the country. And neither did I. But that was our first trip out. And he was really worried. And I'm always, let's go. I want to do a new experience.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it was something that was really scary to him. And the money did scare him. But the fact that they had us covered was something that really reassured him.
They were
And
able to breathe and have fun.
Built their relationship because they did not.
Wow.
They were butting
Yeah.
heads before then.
We despised each other for how many years now? 10 years?
Wow.
Yeah, for 10 years we despised each other. And I think, and that's
really helps
that's
you
the
guys.
growth that I'm talking about, is once I started shifting into this person, like losing a lot of people in the business, just kind of declining. And as it declined, you know, I lost more people. I think it was really a time for me to just work on me. I wanted to focus on who I was, what I really wanted in life, how I wanted to live my life. And then the major turn that really started the shift in the business was when my dad died this year. So he passed away in March.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's not just that, it's just the way that he passed and when he passed. So we haven't talked in 7 years. We've been estranged because he was living with my ex-husband. and my ex-husband, you know, took care of him. So when he passed away in March, there was a whole big issue that happened. And, you know, I was going to be the POA to take care of his care and everything. And when we were in virtual court, he was yelling and screaming, and I think it's because I look like my mother. And, you know, they got divorced. So my brother came home on a Thursday. He was like, I asked how my dad was, and he was like, oh, he was crying because he didn't realize that that's what he did. And he was sad that now he doesn't have a POA. And I was like, well, I can still try. He was like, really? I was like, yes, that's still my dad. Like, I need him to allow me to take care of him, because that's the only way it'll work. Right. He was like, okay, I'll call him. So my dad said, you know, he wanted to see me on Sunday. This was Thursday. I was like, yeah, Sunday sounds great. And, you know, I was kind of thinking about like, oh my gosh, he hasn't seen my new baby, my fourth child. You know, I haven't seen him in a while. Like, you know, I was just thinking about the interaction. Saturday morning, I got a call that he was at the hospital. And I got up, I said, everybody get up and get ready. We're going to go to the hospital. And on the way there, he passed.
Oh my God.
So, I already knew that the moment I walked in the hospital, I could sense that he wasn't there. And I saw him from the hallway, and I knew he was gone. And that really shook my inner world. Going from that regret of not talking to him and being so close to mending a relationship and starting over again. He was my best friend. Like, they were also kind of close too. Like, he was telling her, because she was always at my house.
So you were close to her dad?
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, I was there every weekend, to the point where
every week too, during the week.
Yeah, we would go to school together, and he would take me to Starbucks, and he actually told me, "You're like a daughter to me."
Yeah. So we were like, we're not just best friends. We're like family at this point. But that loss did a lot to me. Like, I feel like it really rocked my world. So after that, I refused to like go through his things. And then finally in June, I went to the garage and I said, I want to be alone. I want to go through his stuff. And it was really, really hard, like even just thinking about it now, because there were just a few things. There wasn't a lot, you know, and like, that's my dad. He lived a whole life and there was barely nothing. And he was almost like alone most of the time. He didn't really have good friends, and, you know, the family wanting to reconnect with them, he really didn't want to listen to them, and he just had a hard life. And I realized that I don't want to waste my time on this earth. I said, I want to do something that my kids will always remember, even if I have stuff that I've left behind that they can touch. You know, I want to leave memories that will always stay with them, whether I leave a box of stuff or not. And that was really the turning point that I could sense like something was shifting in me. And so I launched the Your Brand. And then after that, when I started to feel better again, and I was telling her, like, I feel like I'm starting to get back to myself, because like for so long, the whole 2023, I wasn't in business mode. And then this year was really hard trying to get back to it. Like, I was like, I just don't feel motivated. Like, I don't feel that drive that I used to have. But June was like after I go through his stuff and realizing like we all have one life to live.
One life to live.
We like what we do today, we can't rewind.
That's right.
And that was like the biggest thing that shifted my mindset. And then after that, in July, we started getting, we were about to close the staffing agency. I said, God, I'm about to dissolve this business. Give me a sign if I shouldn't. The day before, my husband was at work and he texted me. He was like, hey, somebody's getting a hold needing a nurse. And I said, okay. And then another client, and then another client, and then another client. And it's just like, I'm like, wait a minute. I think this, and I hated it because I was like, I don't want to get back to staffing because I don't like doing it. And, you know, it really burned me out and I don't want to be there again. And I just had to take a step back and be like, this is what he wants me to do right now. So I'm going to take my time and use what I've learned. And I've really been trying to connect with my intuition, with myself, try to think about what I've learned. And then the home care came, and that even more like fired me up even more. The only difference is that I know what not to do.
Good.
And that's why I'm telling you,
Right.
I want to enjoy this process because money will come.
Right.
Trust me. It's so cliche when they say, it's not the destination, you guys, it's the journey. But no, really, it really is. Because think about this. Once you like get in shape and everything, it's really hard throughout that journey, right? But once you are in shape, then what?
Yeah.
What do?
That's right.
Like, let's say you want $1 million and I hand you a bag of $1 million. What are you going to do? You're going to spend it, right?
Right.
You're going to spend
do
it.
I have a plan? But
Right. You have a plan.
Right,
But
I know
after
what you
that,
mean. Yeah.
what now? It
That's
stops
right.
at 1 million?
That's right.
It doesn't stop at
doesn't.
1 million. You're going to have another thing that you're going to set for yourself.
Right.
So
Another
it's
goal.
not about what you want. It's about how you're going to get there. That's really what life is all about. And then you're going to die and you're going to be like, oh, this is what I did.
Yeah.
I wanted 1 million and this is what I did to go get it. And I enjoyed every single day of it.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say is that usually when we get to that goal, there's going to be another goal. So it's almost like we never stop pursuing.
It never stops. It never stops.
Yeah. So we just need to enjoy that process of getting there because we'll never be satisfied with whatever that level.
Billionaires, they want something else. They want to be the first one to build something, you
Go
know,
to space,
and
do
once
other things.
they get that, they move on to the next. Like there has never been a person that wanted to reach a goal and stop there.
Right.
They always, okay, I did this, like riding a bike. Once you're able to ride a bike, then what do? I want to drive a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. After you drive a car, you're like, you know what? I want to start traveling and fly.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it never ever stops. So like people want the results right away. But that's boring. Why would you want to live your life that way? So now we're building these businesses, and I used to be this instant gratification type person, but now I'm just like, I'm grateful to be human and feel all these things like worries. And I was telling her, I was praying last night, God, thank you so much for allowing me to feel human emotions, like doubting myself, worrying that it's not going to work out, thinking less of myself, like I'm not good enough, like all these negative emotions. That's what makes us human.
That's right.
And what an honor to even feel those negative emotions, right? Like to be able to feel sad, betrayed, you know, it's bad.
Right.
But that's what life is. It's not just good feelings.
That's right.
And once I started really shifting my mind, now I can apply it in business. So when I start sweating and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we're doing this application wrong? What if we're not doing the criminal background right? What if we're not doing the policies and procedures right? I'm able to like, thank you for allowing me to feel worried, for allowing me to feel like I'm not doing good enough. Because that's part of it. That's how you grow. If you don't feel negative emotions, you never grow. You're just that prick that thinks that you're better than everybody.
This is so deep because majority of people are always wanting not to feel that emotion, that negative emotion.
Steering away from it. And don't get me wrong, I've like listened to a lot of like people on social media on how to think positive. When you're feeling sad, think positive. And I'm like, but why do we push away the sadness instead of being grateful for it? Because if we couldn't feel sadness, fear, anger, doubts, then that's freaking weird. Right. Like that's just weird overall. Like imagine if I didn't feel burnt out at my company, I would have never learned.
That's right.
So if I never felt fear that things might go wrong, and if I never felt doubt that they're not doing everything right, then I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I learned now.
That's right.
And not be able to do it right. So like those things you really gotta, and I'm practicing it.
That's right.
I'm not like expert at it, but instead of me pushing it away, I say thank you for allowing me to feel these emotions. because I get to live this human life that, you know, I believe in the higher things. Like, someone decided that I was good enough to be a human,
yes,
and feel human things,
yes,
and go through human experiences. That's an honor that we're all here.
Yes.
So I just kind of apply that into business.
That's amazing. Wow.
And things will just come to you. I can't tell you the times that the money was real tight, and then I just call her up like, you would not believe, not gonna joke, we found $2,400 worth of check one day in our mail.
Wow.
That was just sitting there 2 months prior to that. And I was like, I really need this money, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. God, you got me. You always got me every single time. We were sitting there at the office and my husband found it. I said, there ain't no way.
Wow. So, you know what? I'm so glad we have this conversation, because since my kids and I have been having this conversation about, you know, spending more time together, and I've been thinking a lot about it, I decided, I think it was maybe March of this year, that I don't want to hustle anymore. I feel like I want to, like you've been saying, enjoy the process.
I'm not attracted to hustle anymore.
So I'm thankful for you saying all of this, because I feel like it validates. Because obviously
what you've been feeling.
Yeah, I've not made $1 million, so I don't know, right? But I've been thinking a lot about this and putting things in place for me, like, you know, hiring people so that way I can have more time to spend with, you know, my children and do some of the silly things, you know, because this is the time that we have. And then I think one of the other things that I'm learning is just like preparing for when that high, you know, because when you make money real sudden like that,
girl, unless you got like a whole team with you, listen, you're good. But, you know, if you're trying to do it from scratch, you really have to be strategic about it and make sure that your mental state is intact, because then you're gonna, if it's not, you're gonna make decisions based on desperation. That is a bad idea, and I've done it so many times.
So it's funny that you say that, because usually when we don't have the money is when we're desperate and
exactly.
do make decisions.
Exactly.
So you're saying even when you have a ton of money, you still make desperate decisions.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So when you have a ton of money, you make desperate decisions based on, crap, there's so much money coming in, I need an advisor. You're gonna pick the ones that's the quickest, because you just need somebody to be there right now. You're not thinking clearly, because you're like, your mind is just all over the place. And getting back to the hustle mode, this was also a sign from the universe for me when we went bike riding. And I get really anxious when we bring all the kids, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if somebody hits us and, you know, my kids are gonna die? And like, oh my God. I'm just so paranoid sometimes. But we went on the trail, and my 10-year-old, you know, we're just having conversations of what his worries are and how he's been really feeling like the world is just off. And I was like, actually, I've been feeling the same way. I think it's because there's a lot of sadness going on in this world right now. There's kids getting killed, you know, there's the flood, the hurricane, and people are losing their homes, people are dying, injured. And, you know, throughout our conversation after that, he said, wow, Mom, I didn't know I could have a conversation. He said, I didn't know I could talk to you like this. And I was like, I like had to pause. I was like, you know what? I understand why you would feel that way. Because I'm always on my phone and I'm always on my laptop working. And I never take the time to look up.
Yeah.
And so we've been making it, and I was telling her, like, I want to start riding bikes with them, because it's the only way. I'm not on my phone. I'm not on my laptop.
Right.
And we can just have conversations where we're riding a bike.
Yeah.
And that filled me up so much. That was like a recharge to my soul, really.
Yeah.
And when your soul is recharged, listen, it's on. Like, you can do anything, really. But the hustle mode is not, it's not, that's probably, she probably saw it, and then my husband probably saw it, which is probably why they both said something like, you need to step away. Because I probably started showing that thing that I do, where get too like deep into it, and like I don't take the time to breathe and pull myself out, because I've always felt my whole life I had to hustle. And if I'm not hustling, then I'm not doing good enough.
Right.
And if I'm not doing good enough, then I'm not really providing enough. And if I'm not providing enough, then I'm not really worth that much. So it all like goes back to me.
Yeah.
But I'm just like enjoying the fact that I'm in this space now where I'm able to think about what really matters most to me, but still be able to be that boss lady.
Right.
And like our relationship has changed too. And I was telling her, I was like, I've never felt this way towards you. Where like I was staying up till 2:30 picking out outfits for her.
Wow.
I was like, if you're gonna be a boss, you gotta dress like it. And you know, I was really sad because when we went to the store, you know, she wanted to get outfits for her, and I realized in that moment, I was like, dang, my best friend has never bought herself clothes or anything like that for herself for all the years that I've known her.
Wow.
And the fact that it just hit me in that moment.
After 17 years.
After 17 years, like that made me even more sad because that told me I wasn't really paying attention to her.
Right.
She was more of the one paying attention to me and making sure that I was okay. I was in the right headspace, you know, and I haven't really done anything for her. Not that she's asking for it.
Right,
or
but like it's not mutual in the emotional realm.
Yes.
You know, like you could exchange the money and give all the things, but like emotionally, you know.
Yeah, and I really have not paid attention to her. And it was mostly like other people that I would like give so much of myself of. And I really had to sit down and like kind of think about it. Why? And I think it's because I've lost so many friends that I felt like, okay, if I did all these things for her, then she's just gonna be like those other people. And I think subconsciously I was just like, I'm not gonna do that because I was also doing it to my husband. I wouldn't like cook for him or, you know, serve him as a wife. And we had this conversation yesterday. And I told my husband too, like with my ex-husband, girl, I was cooking, I was budgeting, you know, recipes was on point, you know, cleaning, chores, the kids, you don't got to do nothing. You just got to come home as a husband and eat the food.
Right.
Okay. Everything was clean. Everything was taken care of. But then I got divorced and we've been together for almost 6 years and I'm just now starting to do it again. Slowly. It's not even, I told him, it's like, it's not even half of it. I used to do so much when I was a wife before you.
Right.
So that's another thing, like that fear. I'm trying to let go of all those things because like I don't think she's going anywhere, obviously.
I mean, you guys have been together for what?
We've not been like talking the whole time.
Right,
it's an up and down, not talking, you know, revenge with each other. And it was just like at this point, I was telling her like at this point, we're not even friends, bro. Like we're like sisters that be fighting.
Right.
And not talking to each other. But like now I'm seeing her and I've been praying for her like, Lord, just please give her something that aligns with her.
Ooh, that's good.
So when she started, you know, thinking about podcasts and business, I'm like, yeah, go do it. I would keep myself from helping her. Don't help her. Don't do anything
unless
for
she
her.
asks. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm like, you want this? Figure it out. And she really wanted to do the podcast. And I was like, wow, this is really what she wanted to do. She was thinking about topics and she was really just passionate about it. And then with the home care, and I was like, girl, I know you want to do it. Yeah. She dragged me to a freaking office tour. And once I got there, I was like, oh, I'm just here. She just dragged me. And then we saw the offices and I could visualize it. And I just felt it. And we sat down with the guy and I started asking questions. She was like, you shifted real quick. I went from like, I'm just here to like, okay, so how much is it? Like I started getting to business mode. And I was like, listen, if you back out, I know where you live. And like now I can see her, like she's just not even just like in business, but like in her relationship. Like she's just like this person that's like starting to see who she is.
Right.
She is. And I was telling her and I was like, you know how like back then you would get anxious when you talk to me and you would be like, what does she want now? Now I feel the same way with you because I'm more calm now. And she's just like telling her husband, go get me my food. I'm like, Jesus Christ, girl.
All right, so I want to ask from Nicole too. I want to hear from your point of view, like how she's changed from when things were really, you know, high back in the day?
It's like she said, when I used to work for her, she would call me and I would literally look at my phone and see her name, and I would dread answering that call. And I just, it was so anxious. I would get so anxious and anxiety, and it was terrible. Friends. And we could not be friends when I worked for her. And that's when I told her, like, when I left the company, I said, you know.
So you left the company?
Yeah, I left. I said, you know, working under you, I feel like it played a toll on our friendship and also with my family, because like I said, I would go on trips with her, and when I would go on the trips, she would delegate things for me to do on the trip for the business while she was also doing the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
So a lot of times
it was a walk trip.
My kids would want to do stuff with me, and then I would be like, I can't. And I saw myself slowly turning into her. And for the longest time, I've never just been Nicole. I've been, you know, the mom, the wife. I've never been this businesswoman. That was never my aspect of life. So when I started working for her, that's when she was slowly turning me into her. And I did not like it. So I ended up leaving the company. Wow. And she was mad at me for a while.
Was it a difficult decision? Like, what was that conversation like?
It was difficult.
It was, yeah, we went out.
I wanted to cuss her out, to be honest with you.
She went out to lunch. She went out to, in Italy? Went to Italy.
Wait, you did it out in a foreign country?
No.
It
was in Italy.
Oh,
and
okay.
then she came back.
It was when I came back from Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines. Okay, so she came back from the Philippines, and we went out to lunch, and I had just casually told her.
But wait, before that, she didn't know this, but I wanted to get on the phone with her because on the way here from the Philippines, I wanted to promote her as the head of XR so that I could just step away because I couldn't be that leader anymore. And then she hit me with that.
Dang.
I told her that I was stepping away and that I was starting my own company.
I said,
what?
So I had to calm down. I said, what's wrong?
Wow.
She was like, it's either I'm going to be friends with you or work for you, and I'd rather be friends with you.
Yeah, it was.
And that was the realest thing that I've heard from her.
Yeah, there was no in between. And I tried.
That's what she said. She was like, I can't do it. I don't know how you do it, but I can't do it. Because when I work for you, like, our conversations now is not even, like, I don't feel like I'm talking to my friend.
Yeah,
I'm talking to my boss.
Yeah.
So
I left, and when I told her that, I told her the name of the company that we were starting, and
I helped her.
Yeah, she helped me, and then she stopped talking to me for a while, which is fine.
Well, that was when, like, things started to.
Yeah, I told her, I said, I knew you needed your space. I wanted you to have that time to validate how you feel, because, I mean, it was a difficult decision for me to do this, and
because she was my most trusted person.
Yeah, and after she took that space, I let her know that there was no ill intent with me doing this. It was just something that I wanted to try myself, and I just could not do it under her.
Why?
I mean, even she had hinted at promoting me before, and I knew from talking with my husband that it was most likely something that I was not going to be able to do.
Wow. So do you see her as this different person now?
Oh, definitely, yeah. After, it's like kind of a riches to rags story with her, because after she had all the money and she is where she is now, and like, I wouldn't say her lowest point, but she is at a point where she is pretty low and losing a lot of her friends, and then realizing that no matter what she's going to go through, I'm going to be right there beside her. I mean, when she started the digital marketing, I was right there. I mean, it doesn't matter. If she told me that tomorrow we're going to scrap everything in our house and become homeless people just traveling the world, I would say, honey, this is what we got to do. I have faith that she's going to take us somewhere, so we're going to do it. But seeing her grow into the person that she is now, it's just been a beautiful change.
I like that. And I think that what I'm hearing you say is like, she's grown to be a human too, because she talked about being human, right? And that's, I feel like, what you were also missing, because you wanted a friend, not a boss, a friend that was human and understood like human feelings and all the things that come with that. And I think that that's probably why you can even still work together now. You have your partners, you know, because it's a whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
And I feel like before before she started her business, we had such a beautiful friendship, even though there was years in between where we would stop talking to each other and we would come back and not even miss a beat. And then when the business started, I could slowly see it like, oh, this is turning to something that it shouldn't be. It's not fun anymore. We're not happy.
Right.
So once I left, I could see us going back to where we were. And that's
Slowly.
when we're truly our happiest. Like, there's nothing that could replace that.
Right. I like that you guys have that open conversation about it too. And
it took a while.
I figured
That's not, it did not come overnight. It was a lot of learning with me and her learning not to take things personal, because I've had to stop talking to people and I've had to remind her like, hey, I'm not mad at you. I just really need to like have my time. And it's not about you. It's not what you did or you did something. And she was also going through some stuff too, and just like to be able to have friends that don't take it personally, that you're not talking to them. I don't got time. I got 4 kids. I can't talk to you on the phone. But now we talk all the time.
Right.
But yeah.
Wow. It's interesting. So, gosh, I've learned so much from this conversation. And so what would you say is the biggest takeaway from a business point of view, right? So you've talked about how you would do things differently and you would enjoy the process as a human and, enjoy all of that. But like, as you're building this new brand, because you guys are building this new company together, like, what are some of the things that you feel like you're going to do differently?
I'm going to work on my mental health. That's really, like I mentioned earlier, like business is a very linear thing. There's a process to it. You build it, you market it, sell it, scale it, there's these things, the steps that you do. But if your mindset is not where it's at, your mental health is not where it's at, you don't feel in tune with yourself or aligned with what you're doing. And spiritually, you really have to do personal development when you do a business, especially when you start growing. You can't just treat people like crap.
Right.
You can't just blow your money everywhere. You can't just make decisions based on external validation, like on social media. Oh, I gotta wear this necklace, this bracelet, this car, so that I get more views, more engagement, and more money. Like, that is so shallow and not sustainable.
Right.
And now you've made yourself to be this person that if you're one day deciding I'm not gonna be this person anymore, people are gonna look at you like, oh, okay. So my biggest thing right now, because the business itself is not the problem,
right? Because
there's a process, like I said.
And
okay,
you already done the process.
I've already done that. I know how it works.
You know how to make $1 million and $2 million. Yeah,
it's more. We're gonna tap into more than that.
right. Yeah. But it's not about trying to hustle to make the money anymore.
There's a process, and people need. If I could just tell somebody one thing. Business is a process. You just got to follow that process. No matter what niche you're in, there's a process to it in launching it and operating it, maintaining it, and scaling it. What you really need to worry about is your mind.
Right.
And you need to be careful about what you consume on social media, when you consume on the news, what you read about. Like, those can affect your subconscious mind, and it can affect, what is attracted to you. So if you're seeing like one thing after another, like this person betrayed me, this person did this person did that, this business happened, you might want to start looking into yourself, like, okay, what am I consuming every day on social media, reading it, hearing it, that it's attracting all these bad things. I don't like push away bad emotions, negative emotions, but I'm talking about like external things that happen. So my biggest thing right now is respect, like my mindset and who I am as a person. I need to respect her. I need to respect my husband as business partners. Like, it's not just me. And I'm so used to like, I make the decisions. This is what we do. I'm tired of that.
So how are you planning? How are you going to be making decisions now? Like, what's the decision process?
Oh yeah,
process now.
So we use ChatGPT, and by we, I did. I asked ChatGPT to do numerology, and I'm really into numerology. She's a number 6, so she's like nurturing, and my husband is 3. He's all about communication, and I'm 1. I'm a leadership person. So I asked it to do a title for us and what we're good at. And I read it to all two of them, and they were like, oh my gosh, didn't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree that aspect of being in that business and being able to talk to people and
making sure the patient care is good.
And make sure everybody was okay and everybody felt like they were heard was something that I really enjoyed doing. Even now, talking to a lot of our employees that are coming in and making sure that they're validated. I love that.
Right.
And I let her do that. And my husband is more of like business development, like trying to get clients and nurturing that relationship with clients. And I'm more of like foundation, strategy, scaling, and maintaining. She's all about operations. So she's the COO, I'm the CEO, my husband's the chief marketing officer. So
you got it all covered.
And that's, imagine me doing that all by myself.
Yeah.
Like I would be nothing but that.
Right.
So now I'm happy because we have an upper hand in the industry. I have the experience. She, you know, she's innately just very nurturing. So she's going to make sure that our patients are taken care of, our staff are taken care of, you know, our systems are where it should be to make sure that everything is running smoothly. My husband is really good at talking to people. Everyone just absolutely loves him, okay? Even if they have to tell him no, they've enjoyed talking to him. And he nurtures that relationship with clients, and that's what he's good at. So we're putting him in charge of that. I'm really good at strategy and where we need to go and what we need to do to get there. So I embody that role and I let them do their thing because I'm not doing no hustle no more.
Hey, that's good.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I can't, you know, I can't sleep till 3 a.m. every night. Like insomnia is really bad. But imagine if I was wearing all those hats.
Oh my goodness. In addition to being a wife, a mom, all the things.
Yeah.
A lot. Wow. This has been amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was like a free therapy.
I know, I was going to say, thank you for being open and transparent and willing to share, because a lot of people would not be comfortable sharing their riches to rags story. You know what I mean? But like, you already know what it takes to be a millionaire, you know, and so you know you can replicate that process. And you said something like you're not ashamed to share that story.
I'm not ashamed that it failed because at the end of the day, I think I really self-sabotaged the whole thing.
Right. And I don't even know that it failed because you made a decision.
I made a decision, whether consciously or not.
Right.
I made a decision to not actively reach out to other clients because we really could have. My husband could have. He could have spent, 8 hours a day trying to get clients. He would have too.
Right.
But I would pull him away from, doing things. And I really think I sabotaged it because I was tired and I was burnt out and I didn't know where to go from there. And I just wanted to get to know who I was and all the people that I've lost. Just this year alone, I've still lost people. People that I've helped out with starting their business. And, when it was me that was in desperate help, I was just left on red. I don't want to make decisions out of spite, but I will remember that for sure.
I think that's the one thing that I don't know that we really touched on. Like, the friends that you make, we kind of touched a little bit, like, when things are rolling and things are good, where are they now?
Where are they now? I remember a specific friend. That's okay to talk about it, because I think this is a really, really big lesson to take into account too. When you're having so much money, you don't really realize who's real. They try to make it seem like they're real, but they're really not, until you get to a point that like, oh crap, I really need help right now. So getting into back in June, and I started to get that motivation again. I was like, okay, I want to do branding agency because I'm really good at, I look at something, I'm like, that doesn't go together. I'm not really a matchy person. Like, I'll wear whatever I want. If it matches, it matches. If it doesn't, I really don't care because I love it. So, but I wanted to start that, and, I wanted to start a portfolio. And at the time I had a good friend that I thought was a good friend. I helped her out with her business, making time for her, even though I was busy. Like we're talking about, even though I was busy and I had other things to do, I would make time to text her and call her and just really try to help her get through that mental block, because like I said, business is a linear process. It's all about mindset and who you listen to. And if you're not careful, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Right. So I had to remind her, like, don't listen to people who's never gotten out of their comfort zone. Listen to me. You got this. Right. You're going to make it happen. Go do what you need to do to open this up. And, you know, just really be that friend and motivate her. Someone who I wish was there when I was starting my business. So long story short, you know, they're successful now. Like they, you know, they're growing and everything. And when I was having that shift this year in June, I wanted to start a portfolio. And I was like, oh, they would be good company to do this for. And you know, I'm having like this long text message explaining like what I wanted to do. And I was like, it depends on what you want to do. And the only thing that she said was how much.
To that long message.
To my long message. And I was like, you know what? She's busy. She has kids and she's got a business. I'm not even gonna, you know, because I don't really take things personally like that. But then when I explained it some more and I was like, well, it just depends on what you need. Like, what do you want to work on? And, you know, I wasn't really worried about the cost because I was like, I'll probably do it for free, you know, just to get my portfolio and just do it pro bono.
Right.
And so I explained it some more. I was like, you know, where are you guys? You know, I know what you guys need, but what do you think you need? You know, and just kind of sending a long text. I was just left on red.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? Maybe she's busy. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I said, that's okay. I'll forever remember that. And I try not to make decisions out of spite because that will come back to you.
Right.
So don't do that. But I want to remember who was there when I specifically said, I desperately need your help. Because I don't ask that, you know, and I'm a very prideful person. Like, I'm like, no, I got this. I'll do it. I don't need your help, you know. But I also have had friends that, and this is like really personal too, like, you know, I was telling her what was going on and everything. And I was, you know, I wasn't asking her for help or anything. I was like, I'm negative right now, $1,000 and blah, 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 blah. Did not ask her for anything. After we get off the phone, we were just catching up. We get off the phone and she texted me. She was like, if you need help, just tell me. Just say the word. And I was like, no, I'm okay. She was like, no, seriously. All you have to do is ask me. I'm not even gonna, just tell me how much you need. And I was like, you know what? Yes. Can you help me cover this? Send me $1,000 to cover that negative. So even though there's this one portion of friends that this whole journey has been showing me like, hey, the people that you think might be the good friends and will be there is not. Right. So you really need to have this space, this headspace to be able to say, okay, she's doing this. Who are really the real people in my life?
Right.
I didn't ask this person to help me, but send me $1,000 to cover me. And I'm not ashamed to do that.
Right.
You know, I've had negatives my whole life. So, you know, it's just like, and I asked this person, I desperately need your help. Did not help me. Did not respond to me. Just left me on red. The person that I really invested so much of my time of, just convincing her that she's good enough to do this business. Wow. And there's this friend I'm just catching up with, you know, venting and what's going on with my life. Didn't ask for a dime and insisted. No, seriously. Wow. If you ever need anything, just tell me how much. Wow. That's it. Like that to me, I'm grateful for that. Even though, you know, that doesn't make me happy with the other person, but it's a lesson that I'm honored that God gave me. Right. Like, here you go. Right. Make your decisions. So.
Wow. Okay. So what's next for the two of you? Tell us a little bit about, I know you've given us a little bit here and there, the home care business, the You brand.
I'll let her just share because I feel like she's driven a big part of this.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I want our viewers, you know, to be able to use your services, you know, so tell us a little bit about what's next, where we can find you, all of the good stuff.
So we've talked a lot about a lot of things that we want to venture into. And right now there are a lot of things that are still on the drawing board, and there are definitely things that will come to pass for us. We're just working on getting our home care out there. Okay. growing that.
Okay, that's good. And when that's available, you let us know.
Yes.
When you started and all that.
Yes. So right now we run the healthcare staffing agency, and subsidiary company would be the home care, which will lead to skilled nursing care for homes, for people in the homes that are wanting nursing care. And from there, we want to grow in other countries. And I told her this. From there, I want to maybe eventually get into hospice, and then maybe adult daycare. So it's not going to stop there.
Right.
And then after that, we really want to do, after the home care, and we get the gist of it and the flow, and we feel comfortable with it, then we're going to move on to the next project, which my husband is really wanting to do. He wants a nightclub. Oh. And we want a beauty lounge that will... The restaurant, yeah.
Kind of goes, yeah.
But we both really want to start the beauty lounge because we want to promote natural beauty. Not saying like, oh, it's a no for makeup and Botox and all of that, but like if we can provide services like to promote, you know, your well-being, your inner health, like doing Reiki, yoga, breath work, massages, and you know, maybe like facial massage to help your face just kind of look like you had a Botox, anything like really natural, and for women to come in and feel good about themselves and not feel like, man, I don't have makeup on like this girl, I don't have nice clothes on like this girl. Like it's just gonna grow into like as we go with it. You know, it starts with an idea, you implement the idea, and you start learning along the way of what people like, what people are looking for. So that's really those two things, the home care and the beauty lounge.
That's very fast. That's very interesting.
Yes.
So happy for you guys and where your relationship is at right now in your business too. Thank you so much for coming and sharing. This has been such eye-opening, and I know that our audience, we've learned a lot about this. I will put your contact information so that they can, maybe you have questions. I know that you both are open to answering questions, especially if you're here in Indiana and you need home care. You know, now they're gonna have one, so pull in, and you know, and also if you need staffing for home care too, that's something that they can help you with. But thank you again for coming and for sharing and just being open.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. This was really fun.
It was.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
She loves to just listen.
Yeah, I am a listener.
You guys have such a wonderful friendship.
Well, thank you. We worked hard at it.
We did. Oh, I thought you were going to give me 5.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I feel like we covered quite a good range, you know, like.
And I feel like the biggest takeaway too is not even the money.
Right.
This is all about you, your inner self, and who you are as a person, because everything else will, as cliche as it sounds, everything else will fall into place if you know who you are.
I feel like this was more of an empowerment story.
Empowerment, really, because that money is there for you to take, but you got to be in the right mindset.
Right.
So start worrying about the success.
Right.
Stop worry about failure. Cool. Spend 20 minutes on that. Spend 40 minutes on what you're going to do when you become successful. No one thinks about that.
Right. So good. What are you going to do when you're successful? Are you ready for that success?
Yeah. Or it could be like, okay, maybe it's a revenue. Think about your plan step by step in a piece of paper or whatever, record yourself, whatever. When you get $1 million revenue, and let's just say, you know, your profit margin is 25%, 250,000. What will you do with that money? What is your plan? Are you going to roll it over to the business and expand? Or are you going to keep that and just grow later on? Or are you going to save some of it? Put that plan into place.
And the key word there was when, not if.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that you speak a lot of things into existence. So when we were looking at our office, Xizza had this idea that we weren't going to get the office. And I was walking around saying, look at our office. Look at this. And then it was ours.
Wow.
She manifested that one. I actually didn't. I manifest pretty quickly, so I'm very careful with what I ask for, because sometimes I'm not cut out for it. I'm not cut out for it, and people are like, oh, this is what I want, but are you cut out for it?
Right.
Are you ready for it?
Right.
Because it's going to be a mess if you're not.
That's true.
Like my staffing agency, earning that revenue. Like, I was a mess. I was not ready for it.
Right.
I didn't know what the heck what I was doing. Like, I was like, well, you spend it, right? Like, you spend the money, right? That's what you do. So, yeah. There's a lot. It's not just about money. And like, if we were to talk about money, I could tell you step by step how to get that. And that's it.
Right.
But nobody talks about the backside. What's going on in your head? Who are you? Like, are you willing to scam people for money?
It's a whole nother story right there. Are you prepared? Prepare yourself before that time comes.
Prepare. Let go of what no longer serves you. I also read this thing. If your year is supposed to be an abundance year and you've not let go of the things that you're supposed to let go, and getting the abundance will cause more harm than good, then you're not going to get it. You're going to get negatives. You're going to get bad opportunities. You're going to get bad partnership. All these things are going to start happening. So you need to be able to step back and be like, what is it that I need to let go?
Right. So be prepared for the success and enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the ride. Goodness. Just enjoy it. And people take that as, oh my gosh, enjoy the ride. Yeah, I've heard that. No, seriously, enjoy it.
Yeah. And that could mean anything. That could mean taking time out with your kids or spending time with yourself.
Intellectual conversations, not just like about your Prada, your Chanel, your Porsche.
Right. Not only about work, but other things that matter to you.
That matters, that money cannot buy. And me and my husband always talks about this. I told him that the fact that we're together and we made the decision to work on ourselves, even though it was hard because we're both very prideful. And now we're able to communicate with each other openly. And I would rather be broke with you than anybody else, because I know that we'll both come out of that really strong. That is something no amount of money can buy.
That's right. That mindset.
Your relationship. And, you know, I'm not bashing people with like expensive stuff. Like, I like those things too, but they're not my drivers. My driver is family, friends, genuine connections, genuine opportunities, genuine partnerships. Like, even with my clients, I tell them, like, I think you were supposed to be with me. And they agree. They're like, yeah, because, you know, I make a lot of things happen for them. I make a lot of things happen for them just to help them out. And that's what I'm about. And they can't get that from another healthcare staffing agency. Like, big agency, they're not going to blink an eye. They're like, oh, okay. You can't afford it?
Sucks for you.
Find someone else.
Right.
They have an issue with the staff. They're like, oh, well, you got to pay again.
Wow.
But with me, and I'm like, okay, but what's the problem now? Let's look at it. And then I tell them a suggestion, like, let's have a communication with that person, you know, so they're not out of the loop. They know what's going on. And after they communicate, you know, they hash it out and they're good.
Wow.
So, you know, you can't get that from a big corporation.
Right. Wow. This has been so good. I feel like if we continue, we'll just continue to talk forever.
It was just be an all-night thing.
So good. I think that the biggest takeaway today is get ready for the success, because it would come. You
will have it.
It would happen. But then also enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Make sure you come back for the next episode. Thank you. Bye.